Please welcome Rachel Smith.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, just walk across the stage on me.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to participate in such a meaningful cause. They have the selection titled as Motivational Speaker. When I was sitting down and thinking, I said, there's no need for you all to be motivated because you have obviously shown your level of commitment and motivation towards making people become aware of this disease that is affecting so many lives, particularly lives of those women of color. And, I have to honestly say that I didn't know very much about lupus when I was asked to come and present. And I said, what will I talk about? And then Elaine told me about the title. And the title was Beauty Sees No Disease. And then I did some research and I found out that, it affects women of color at a disproportionate rate. And one of the brothers came up to the table earlier and he said, what are you going to talk about? He said, I said, lupus. He said, are you a doctor? And I laughed. Like, no. But what I am a person who is very passionate about issues that affect people of color. And particularly issues and diseases that affect women of color. Just based on the love for my mother, the love for my sister, the love for my nieces and cousins and other female relatives, and just an overall general love for women of color. And when I thought about that title, because actually the topic that gave Elaine was the dis-ease that stems from the internalization of unrealistic and unhealthy images of beauty. And then doing some research on lupus, I found that these physical symptoms are some of the most devastating, as we've seen through the film. The lives of people have been affected by it. But it all centered around this ideal image of beauty that we have. This ideal image of beauty that we've constructed in our society, to the point where every day you're inundated with so many images that tells you that the objective of your beauty is to be perfect, is to be flawless, right? To have nothing wrong with you. You have to be ultra slim. You have to have a six-pack. You have to be in the gym 6 days a week. And we're constantly fed this information to the point where we start to believe it to be true. And unfortunately, that's an illusion. It's not real. So when I thought about the topic and when I thought about the disease, I said, wait a minute. A lot of this stuff that we're talking about, a lot of it come up. Of course, you can't completely ameliorate the impact of lupus, right? Because there's a certain level of pain that comes with it. It's unfortunate. But then I thought about what could be done to prevent people from having to deal with those emotional and psychological effects that comes from getting to a place where you're no longer considered to be beautiful according to this perfect standard that we know to be an illusion. And I said one of the things that we can do as a means to prevent this from affecting those folks who may have the disease or get the disease in the future is start to reevaluate and challenge that image. Challenge that. And I say this particularly in regards to people of color and women of color, because we know that historically we have not fit the mold. The mold of beauty has not been defined with our particular shapes, sizes, complexions, hair textures in mind. So we start off at a deficit. So it's even more dire, right? Because on top of the physical pain that you're experiencing, the emotional and psychological pain can exacerbate it to the point where it leads to what I believe to be suffering. And even though I heard the lady earlier today said that she was suffering from lupus, I firmly believe that there's a difference between pain and suffering. My definition is that pain is the experience and suffering is your perception of the experience. And in that sense, we have a choice. Obviously, there's going to be some consistent pain, but we have a choice to perceive it in a way that will cause us to be suffering, or we can perceive it in a way that can cause us to become empowered, like the people who spoke on that video and like the people who are here today. So when I looked at that, I said, wait a minute, we need to understand that beauty is not about what you see when a person walks into a room, but how you feel when that person walks into the room. And when I walked into this room tonight, I felt this overwhelming sense of love and passion and commitment towards educating and lessening some of the burden that the people who've been affected by this disease are experiencing. And so I sensed beauty immediately after I walked into this door. And even though I know there's a bunch of beautiful women, and I know I definitely saw the physical beauty, and I know how OPB gets down. But this just definitely showed me that, you know, you are so much more than those stereotypical physical attributes that other people tend to give you. That you're all beautiful internally. And today and tonight, you're allowing that beauty to manifest itself in trying to educate and inform people about a cause that is so dear to you. So I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. Like I said, I didn't have to motivate you. You were already motivated. And actually, you inspired me. Every time I see that so many young people are committed to a cause, it inspires me. It gives me a reason to continue on trying to play my role in any issue that is affecting our people. And with that said, I conclude and I say thank you.